Ari Shaffir is here.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be here?
I am, buddy. I remember I came here when you were setting this up. You're like, I think I want to run a podcast studio. No, you said I want to start a podcast.
And you were like, let's go on a hike. You should go to Malaysia for 3 months.
I did say you should get lost. And you say I'm about to start a podcast. I'm like, that's the right time to go then. You haven't started anything yet.
You're the only person when I hang out with that tells me to work less instead of comes to me with like weird. I was like, so Ari is like, let's go on this hike. I'm like, I'm either getting murdered by Ari or we're on a date. I'm not sure exactly. And normally when a comedian, I go on a hike with them or they trick me into some like coffee date. There's always
it's a pitch.
There's a Damocles sword hanging of like the countdown for when I'm going to get pitched like a family sitcom about your zany, like gay uncle. And it just never came. But you were like, you know what you need to do? Go to Laos for a year.
At least I said at least 3 months. I said at very minimum like 2 to 4 weeks, but probably 3 months or more.
I feel like you're one of the few people in comedy who see like whatever thing I have. I don't know. You can diagnose me, and you're like, I'm gonna try to help her.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Is it the guilt from stealing my backpack?
It's the guilt. Yeah.
15 years ago.
Also, I stole a dollar out of that. I never told you. Yeah. No. I don't know. I don't. Your world is like overlaps my world, but you make your money in a world I'm not in, so I don't really want anything from you.
I always ask people when they come in for the first time, are we friends?
Yeah, we're friends. If somebody's like, if I'm on a plane and somebody's like, do you know Whitney Cummings? I'll be like, yeah, it's my friend. You know what I mean?
I feel like we're like closer than that though.
Well, what am I supposed to say? Yeah, that's my best friend.
I feel like, do you not say that to people?
That's my best friends. DeRose always says that's one of my dearest friends. And I'm like, shut up, dude. You sound like a fucking Hollywood.
But it is weird when you're like, in what other business?
That's my friend. Friend, that's a big thing.
It is a big thing.
Yeah.
But in what other business do you spend so much time together, yet none at all? But when you do, it's more oddly.
Well, we have a clubhouse.
Yes.
So we can be like, so when I'm in LA, I can call 1 or 2 people, but I'm like, I'll just see most people. I saw Ian Edwards at the store last night. I don't have to call him.
Yeah.
But we got to do a 10-minute talk.
Yeah.
It was just like, you'll see your friends at the store.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. We're not like, oh shit, Ari, I'm in New York. We got to have lunch. We're not that kind of friend.
Well, that's the weird thing about comics is like I find myself never making plans with the ones I like the most because I assume I'm just going to run into them.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you don't, and then.
Or take it for granted.
Granted?
People. Yeah.
Is that what we do?
Yeah. We're just like, we'll see you.
I feel like we've been through a lot together.
Uh-huh.
Kind of.
Yeah. We thought the dark days of the store, they call it, which was really the brightest days.
I want to go back to that in a second, but first I want to just go to your special really quick.
Thank you.
Your special, Jew, is out now.
It's out.
How fucking lucky are you that Kanye West is trying to push Jews off buildings right now?
I was just like, people were like, what's this about? I'm like, damn, it's very interesting timing. I've been planning it for years, and I didn't know.
But this is like Sebastian Maniscalco, one of the greatest comics ever. We love. Yeah. But, you know, when he was first getting big, you know, I don't think you can separate the fact that it was right when like Jersey Shore was coming out. And he was sort of the antidote to Jersey Shore.
Yeah, right. It was a zeitgeist thing that maybe helped push him up. But also he capitalized by being great.
No, he's the best, but it got more people to get eyeballs on him.
To at least give it a chance.
Yeah, because people were like, wait, that's not how Italian people are. And then he was sort of like, you know, he hosted the MTV Awards with like Snooki. It kind of worked. This feels like...
Yeah, I remember in marketing class, they were like, it's not build a better mousetrap and people will beat a path to your door. It's build a better mousetrap and get the word out. And then people will beat a path to your door.
Because I feel like you've been working.
Kanye, dude.
You've been working on this, I feel like, for a long time.
Yeah, a long time. 5 years of intentional work on one fucking special. So, like, yeah.
And now Kanye is just...
I put it away for like a year plus for COVID and took it out and figured out all the fucking jokes that are too long and so I could see it fresh again, which I want to start doing always now. But, like, yeah, and then Kanye comes in right at the fucking finish line.
At the buzzer.
Yeah.
To
and
slam
was like,
dunk.
you know these motherfuckers? I'm like, what?
Let me ask
Black Skinhead, one of the greatest fucking songs of all time.
I feel like, what is going on? Why at the craziest level of someone's, like when someone is at their most mentally ill, why are Jews always
all roads of conspiracy lead to Jew?
Is it because there's so few Jews in the world that they think they're going to get the least amount of blowback? Is it because some take the day off from technology, so they assume they're not going to see the tweets?
The hate predated technology.
Like, are Orthodox Jews even seeing these tweets on Fridays?
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not even hearing about it. They're just they're just watching their stocks go up. Yeah, why is that? Holtzman, I saw this comic, like funny, angry comic. He asked some lady in the crowd, he's like, what are you? She goes, I'm Jewish. It was 15 years ago. He goes, why does everybody hate you? And she goes, I don't know. He goes, really? You never thought to ask? If everybody hated me, I at least question. Yeah, I don't know. My mom is annoying. So, I get it, Kanye, but...
Isn't it sort of just as the economy sort of goes down the toilet and things get divisive, it's an easy thing to go to because very few people know Jews and maybe they rely on that.
Yeah, so we're outsiders. We've always kept to ourselves. And so, like, even the really good, promoters of the Holocaust, what's his name?
As in publicists?
Yeah, who was the Holocaust publicist? Goebbels?
Yeah.
I think it was him. I don't know, but he goes, I don't give a shit about Jews, but they'll do well to drive people against somebody. And now the left and the right, they just have each other usually.
Right. I guess that's what it is, because it's the same thing. I'm working on this stuff, jokes about people hating trans people and drag queens. It's very easy to hate them because most people don't know them.
You don't even know one. You've never even seen one.
Yeah,
Shut up.
So it's easy to be like, and you don't even think about sort of the logistics of it. So the ignorance of the base of like when people are like, oh, well, this drag queen was in a public bathroom with my kid for 2 minutes. It's like, that's not enough time.
That's not enough. Yeah, it takes longer.
They have to take off the panty. Like, you have no idea how drag works if you think of drag. First of all, drag queens, like...
Different thing.
Not only do they not want to fuck your kid, like they think your kid's like ugly. Like if you met a drag, like they think
everybody's like gays are gonna try to. Dude, why you?
Dude,
you're a 4.
They think your kid's like
You
unfuckable.
know how vain gays are?
You have any clue?
You don't even work out, bro. No chance.
Like your kid is so like, to me, when parents are like obsessed with their kids getting molested, like the trans people are gonna get my. It's like all you're doing is telling people you think your kid.
Yeah,
is
you
hot.
see the best in your child.
Like you think your kid is like worth going to jail for hot.
But we see him as a hopeful school shooting victim. Fucking your kid's ugly. Why is everybody hating Asians for coughing and not these fucking kids?
I'm just curious. As someone that I always knew people always told me I was Jewish and I just didn't know, but I am half
Jewish.
I guess, yeah. It was just confirmed.
I can see it. You're like a David Duchovny Jew.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Is that where the sex addiction comes in?
Are you addicted to sex?
I don't think so. I think I'm the opposite. I think I have the sexual anorexia thing.
You go without.
Yeah.
You're wild, though.
Am I?
You're undercover wild.
Really?
Yeah.
What is that? Where do you hear that?
I've heard stories.
From who?
It's just stories.
I like to suck on a cauliflower ear.
Is that what it is?
So do you feel like there's ever...
You're a one-time at band camp lady.
No, it's like one time at Rooster T. Feathers.
Yeah, something like that.
It's all like... I've actually never dated a comic.
Really?
Do you believe me or no?
I do.
I've dated one English one. Well, why'd you look up there then?
I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I haven't... Yeah, you don't...
Because here's the one thing about me. I don't lie.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's all these rumors about me, and I'm happy to...
Yeah, you're one of those people like, I'll admit if I farted.
But it's so much...
It wasn't me.
Yeah, it's like as soon as I get a facelift, dude, everyone's going to know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a paid partnership with Neosporin.
Yeah.
There's going to be a paid partnership with Staples.
You get your eyes done. You got to get something done. You come in looking different sometimes.
Yeah, I know, but it's actually like, I mean, I've never got my eyes done. I've gotten Botox here.
Botox,
I've got
what
Botox around my eyes, and I get a little filler on the side of my nose.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I lose weight and gain weight, and then I look different.
Yeah.
And then I do Althera, which is like a laser, and then I got my tits done 3 times. I didn't have any money left for anything else.
I remember Tiny Tit Whitney.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
I really, with the backpack,
These are better.
Thank you.
Yeah, money well spent.
Did you notice when I had fake boobs? Like, did you know?
Oh, yeah.
Right away?
Yeah. You're always somebody people looked at, and then suddenly like, oh, there's more to look at.
We need so much bouncier. I did notice all of a sudden one day people that didn't like me started hugging me.
Yeah, if David Taylor tucks his shirt in, no one knows. But like, yeah, exactly, can I hug you longer? They're leading an upper hug instead of a lower hug.
You hated me. Like, are you pickpocketing me? Are you? What is happening? But like I'm sort of interested in like comics that haven't been able to like break down. Like we did it on your podcast once when I did your podcast in New York. We like broke down. I love that comics that aren't dating spend more time talking about their relationships than any marriage.
Yeah. Marriage people are just fine. They just roll with it.
We're like, remember that time that really hurt my feelings when you did that? And I just feel like
Dude, my favorite was the 50th anniversary. People working out their 30-year-old shit with each other. Their petty stuff that they haven't let go. And it was like, you know that time you brought, and as it's coming out of their mouth, they realize how dumb it is. That time you brought me up was really bullshit. In 1987, fuck.
Do you remember that?
Holding on to this for.
So I was like, do you remember that time we were at Flappers?
Yeah.
Okay. and the guy with the dollhouse on his head had just bombed. Okay.
Yeah.
And I had an agent there from Gersh. Okay.
And you did this. It was like, yeah, I was 22.
And you introduced me as, are you guys ready for a lady?
Yeah.
And then I ate shit. It's like, that's why you ate shit?
Right.
You've been doing comedy for 6 months.
You ever hear this saying, success has many mothers, but failures are bastard?
Ooh.
People always blame that it's one thing that stopped you from succeeding. And the double meaning of it's a bastard. But like, it's, if that hadn't happened, I'd be big. But like a lot of people helping you along the way was what helped you.
It's so true.
Yeah.
What's yours, do you think? Or what was yours?
I'm doing great.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I have always thought this, and I don't know if this is going to come off like well or not. Who cares? You've made up your mind about me. I have always been like, even from the beginning when I didn't know that much about comedy, I was like, he is like our Rodney Dangerfield. I was like, he's going to be the most famous person in the world in like 25 years. And I didn't know
like
why.
a late hit.
Not even late hit.
Yeah.
Not even late hit. I just was like, the way that this guy is so radically himself and not pandering to anyone. Like he refuses to compromise what he wants to say to get he would rather eat shit and kill with the Germans in the front row and make the comics in the back laugh than do some bullshit joke that he knows will work.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Like, I'll find my audience.
But
I'm going to be me. And then when the trends go to the other way, it's like, well, I'm just not on that train.
Yeah,
know?
but that, and I remember Byron Allen explained this to me once, but what is it? You only need 2 million people in the world to fuck with you to be like a millionaire as a comedian.
It is, Whitney, I don't know if you understand this, that's a hella amount of people.
But it's also not,
it's not impossible.
But between being on 3 podcasts, if you go on Joe Rogan, Your Mom's House, and Tim Dillon's show, you are,
word's out.
That's easily 2 million people.
Yeah,
for
sure.
They just have to find you and go to your,
and be like, I like this guy.
Totally. And just go, oh, he happens to be in my town, and then I happen to have the Groupon to go see him.
It's so funny when you see comics like comparing themselves to each other and be like, well, that guy's doing this, I should do what they do, or I should just start doing, lip sync songs on TikTok. And I'm like, dude, that's for Mateo. That's not for you.
It's tricky,
You're not going to do that well. It's just not your thing.
But comics, like I do think that this is something that helped me that I heard early
on.
He
doesn't do that. Yeah.
Which is that well, he sings opera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That violent comparison is the worst form of violence against yourself. And I think that comedians do it as a way to just like cut ourselves and give ourselves a hit. It's like a drug addict hitting cocaine or something. It's a hit of like self-hate and adrenaline, which turns into dopamine. And
it's like, why am I not that big?
It's just wait, like, because when people are like, well, how come I'm not doing this? It's like, think about, do you really want to be on a sitcom on Netflix?
Do you want that? Do you want that? The most lamest, you're like, oh, your mom will be proud of you? Fuck off. You don't want that. You didn't get into this for that.
By the way, I can tell you right now.
I'm sure you've done 8 of those.
Your mom's not proud of you. It's like, no, our mom's not proud of any of us.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
my first date, when we did HBO together, we did Norton show, my mom afterwards was like, why do you have to do that? I'm like, what, the dirty material? I was like, no, you pulled your penis out. Like, I want to brag to my friends, and now I can't. I'm like, oh, fair. I can't be thinking about you.
Why did I circumcise you? That could have been such a fun puppet show. But like, I do think that it is our, I always say like with comedians like complaining so much now, I'm like, it's taken because I feel like I get so much negativity at me that I have to remember like comedians will complain.
We like to complain.
About anything.
Yeah.
Gary Goldman, 45 minutes complaining about sugar cookies. Like,
right, yeah. It's just our way. So when it's pointed to you, you can't be like, I'm mad about it. You're like, it just points everywhere. And then you get in there like, why about this guy? Yeah. I hear it all the time. Yeah. I hear comments like, oh, I already did this was wrong. And it's like, that's just their way. They comment on shit without knowing about it. Yeah. No one's really looking for a fucking unique, interesting, like full thought out take on a thing.
I look at everything that I kind of thought that I wanted. It was like so jealous of, and I look back and I'm like, oh my God, thank fucking God I didn't get what I wanted because I had such bad ideas.
Yeah. I remember Bobby Lee, popular Asian comedian Bobby Lee was I went over to his podcast once a long time ago and I brought some candy bars. And he's like, what are the candy bars for? I'm like, you know what they're for. And he's like, Ari, what? And I'm like, you're going to put them up your butt, Bobby. That's why I put them in the freezer. I bought a Twix and I brought if you want to go the easy way out. And he was like, Ari, I'm on ABC. I can't do that. And I'm like, Bobby, this is a prison you put yourself in. You're putting it up your butt because I know who you are. And if ABC doesn't know you are, that's their problem. You're putting this, and he was like, well, then I'm doing it right in your face. I'm like, fair. I didn't expect that. I'm not happy about it. But then he was right in my face as we're sticking a candy bar up his butt. That's who we are.
One time, Bobby Lee and I were on the road together, and you know how he would take Elmer's glue and like put it all over his hands?
And then just do what?
I feel like I'm the only person that had to deal with this. Okay, so many comics have these stories like comics pulled their dick out. Da 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 da. That happened to me a number of times. I thought it was funny, but Bobby,
it's pretty funny. A soft dick is pretty funny.
Is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, because it's also like yeah. I mean, I've told the story about it. LA Times was just like they were dicks about it. They totally transcribed an interview that I did 10 years ago.
As this like horrible like victim-y thing. You're like, no.
Well, this is the perfect example of why, like, nobody should be taking any Twitter, comments seriously because, like, comedy's meant to be delivered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The joke is not even half of it, So people are like, oh, why am I getting canceled on Twitter? Well, why are you posting jokes on Twitter where you don't know where your joke is going to land in between? You don't know who people fucking follow.
Who's it being sent to?
Yeah, you might get retweeted.
That's like a joke at the comedy store, and then somebody takes that joke, goes outside, and just tells a random person passing by, like, this guy said the Holocaust was good.
Why are you forcing comedy on people during the day that didn't sign up to see comedy? Your tweet can end up between like Trump is running again and 10 elementary kids shot in the face.
Yeah, or be seen 5 days later after there's been a school shooting. You're like, oh no.
And it's being delivered by the idiot reading it who's in a bad mood anyway, who
doesn't read it right. Yeah, with tone.
Yeah, and so for me, I was 10, 12 years ago when podcasts were just starting, we were all doing favors for each other and doing each other's podcasts. It was like actually a really sweet thing. Is it The Fighter and the Kid or The King and the Worm?
Those are both podcasts, yeah.
The Raccoon and the Jackal. So the King and...
The Mullet and the Bullet?
No, the fucking... Fighter and the Kid.
Yeah.
And so, sorry, they're both 49, so I'm just trying to remember when it was called The Fighter and the Kid. And The Fighter and the Kid, it was down in Venice, and I went down, Callan had a podcast.
It was so far away.
Of course I'm going to do it, right? Friends, helping friends. And he had pulled his dick out once, like as a joke. I thought it was hilarious. I go down. I'm not going to tell that story on a podcast to the person if I felt harmed.
That they're going to go, what?
Or if I feel harmed.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, you wouldn't even bring it up.
I wouldn't have gone.
We used to do this thing at the Comedy Store. So the problem is, soft dicks are funny.
Yes.
And so all you're asking us to do, not you, but people, is not include women in our funny.
Right.
To be like, hey, you actually can't come in. We're having a good time. And if it gets out that you were here for this, we'll all be in trouble.
You can't tell me that I'm have been hurt and traumatized by a soft dick that I saw that I thought was funny.
Right. I thought it was funny. Yeah. We had this thing called Cummings.
I'm never worried about a comic raping me because I can never get their dick hard anyway. You just have to be more annoying.
I remember once, it was one of my funniest lines. I'll say it now because you're not the same person. It was before your boob job, and we were talking about the pill for hair loss, and Propecia? You were like, Propecia. No. Yeah.
Propecia?
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody about it, and you were like, actually, it makes a lot of men have like erectile dysfunction, and I was like, yeah, but also, Whitney, you have really small tits.
You have really small tits.
Can't blame it on pharmaceuticals.
And a really big mouth. With a lot of opinions.
We did this thing called Cummings where you would just distract somebody and then take my balls and dick and put it on a man's like arm. And then we'd have Jim Payne would be like distracted, like, hey, look at that. And then you just have this dick on your arm and you'd be like, well, no! But you can't do it to women. You just can't be involved because it's just it's borderline victim-y.
Yeah.
But you do it to a buddy and it's disgusting. And it's only meant to be disgusting, not sexual.
Did you play sports growing up?
Yeah, volleyball and basketball.
Mm-hmm. Don't you think like as I get older?
Hard.
What?
Fuck hard. That's a sport. Shut up in there.
You know what I feel like as I get older? I feel like there's I hate the word life hack. I'm a high performer. Yeah. 4-hour work week. there's ways to have shortcuts in terms of like managing expectations to people that might disappoint you in the future. And does it ever help you to divide people into categories? Like not stereotypical or not like overgeneralizing, but people who played team sports and people who didn't.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe.
Or like an only child or someone with lots of siblings. You can kind of instantly know how serious this person might take themselves, or you can like make a little bit of
tennis players like driven to success. It doesn't need anybody.
People that were just runners and swimmers, the fucking dorks. It was all about them. But if you're a team player, usually you have a better sense of humor because you were in locker rooms and like putting dicks on each other's chins and fucking around doing like
and
purple
you've been
nurples.
benched and you got to like do what's best, pass the ball for someone else to take the
and it's not all about you, and it's like more of a collective team effort. Because I think there's a lot of like in our business, there's a lot of non-sports people. That did not, you know what I mean?
Even when I moved here, I was surprised by how few comics even knew about sports.
Not wild?
Yeah. But also not gay.
I mean, did you see Tom Segura play basketball? That guy did not play sports.
He injured himself getting ready to jump. What a fucking loser. What a weak loser.
I love that
he was like gearing up to jump and his body's like, don't do this. What a fucking dork. Oh my God.
The fact that like people are worried about the trans people are gonna hurt our kids in the drag queens. Like, no, it's gonna be
what
like
about gravity, bro? It's
gonna
killing you.
It's gonna be the 50-year-old uncle who forces your kid to play football at Thanksgiving. It's like Joe Rogan has made it so men in their 40s are now trying to be pro athletes.
Yeah. He gives you this false sense of security. Like, we can be strong, work out. Like, no, you'll be injured.
What are you training?
Rogan got me a knee surgery, 2 kettlebells, and then I'm like, snap. And he's like, you did it wrong. I'm like, no, you're giving advice to the wrong people. You're giving advice to yourself. I'm weak.
No one's drafting any of these people.
We did this sober October thing, and I was like, we're gonna do 100 push-ups, and I'm like, dude, I can't do these push-ups. And he's like, just start with 10 at a time. I'm like, it's so cute. You think I could do 10 straight push-ups, but I maxed out at 4.
But that is good. I feel like that's been a positive thing.
Being sober for a month?
Yeah, but I feel like you guys don't need to be like climbing ropes and like wrestling elk.
A casual midlife workout. Just get on the treadmill for a little bit.
How do you think everyone is going to die in comedy?
Oh, okay. Brad, sorry.
Williams?
No. Bert, sorry.
Okay. Is it Brad will get eaten by Bert?
Yeah, exactly. And then Bert will just die of fat right afterwards. There'll be a few assassinations, hopefully.
You think?
I don't know. I think at some point people are going to get the balls. You feel wronged enough that social media makes people so fucking crazy that they think they're just like Ralphie called it, and I think he's right.
Let me ask you something, because you have been at the Comedy Store in a way that very few people have, and because a lot of people ask me, they're like, what is this new thing where comedians get assaulted? I'm like, this is not new. I mean, I've seen this, the entire time I've been doing comedy.
I'm waiting for you outside, motherfucker.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
And remember,
and you have to be like, fine, but then you're like, can somebody seriously walk me out of my car?
Because my car also is like, there's like a 10% chance it's not going to even work at all.
Super frightened. Yeah, exactly.
Also, by the way,
jumpstart my car and then escort me to it.
How do I break it to the guy that's probably going to murder me that I don't have a car and I have to walk home?
Yeah.
I have to call a cab.
Oh, the worst, I lived 2 blocks from the store, so I did have to walk by. I couldn't drive away.
Me too.
Oh my God.
The worst part of that is I would have comics walk me home.
Oh yeah, you live right there, just up from me.
I was like, is there like a murderer that can protect me from this comic?
David Taylor said, this is how long it's been happening. Everything's just more publicized now. They're like, pedophilia just started. No,
that's
it
my
doesn't.
thing. Everything has always existed. It just looks different.
Yeah. He said, like, you got to remember, because he would anger the crowd so much. Sorry to keep talking about him, but he said the base of the mic stand is a weapon. If you pick it up this way, shove it, anybody's off you, and you're crushing their skull. So you pick it up like this, and then bam.
Do you remember that time? I think it was Steve Byrne or Brett Ernst was on stage, and someone threw a chair. I was Steve Byrne.
It happens a lot. Tammy Pescatelli, somebody threw something at.
Tammy Pescatelli, someone threw something at.
In Texas, she tried to press charges, and the cops in Texas were like, that's just part of comedy. Like, you don't know comedy. You kept the Ariel Elias just now.
That was crazy. And then the Jim Jeffries one. I feel like people forget about Jim Jeffries getting punched in the face.
That was his 7 more minutes.
Yep. And then he just happened to be funny.
Yeah, he could capitalize.
And then did you see the John Caparulo one at Hermosa Comedy Magic Club where someone threw a drink, like it hit him in the chest like a glass?
Listen, if you can work up somebody that much with your words, you're doing something amazing.
Yeah.
Because if you're just spewing nonsense, everyone's going to be like, I'm out of here. But if you say it just right, at just the right time, to make someone angry, or if they'll hold on to their anger on something you said for years, you've said something beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to get somebody that emotionalized. Norm said it. Like, I'd like to make you laugh. But in lieu of laughter, I'll take anger.
Yeah.
I just want you to feel something. And when you do it, when you get people to be some level of oh, it's perfect. You got to say something biting and like get in there.
Do you feel like, and that's such a big part, I think, of what, you do, and like when people get angry at something you do, and let me ask you, because to me, when people were mad at you about the Kobe thing, my dad,
one of many things they're mad at me.
But I'm saying my dad had died in a really horrible way a couple years prior. I laughed so hard. I mean, I remember thinking it was so much funnier, and I was like, the people that were upset, I was like, oh, you just haven't been in pain.
Right.
And like, it must be nice to be mad at this tweet and to not have gone numb already, so that this feels.
Yeah, it's like, we're over it. You don't.
Yeah.
I had some people walk out, 2 different old couples who had been told by their kids to go see Ari Shaffir. Mm-hmm. And they both walked out separately, angry, complaining about me. And they both were like, it's not just so much that he's like making fun of children dying or being shot. It's that everyone else is laughing about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to make people laugh.
But we're healing over here.
But also, if you're going to be angry, that's also quite funny. But you are the joke.
But also, how are you not taking this as an opportunity to look at yourself? And it must be nice to have so little trauma in your life that this is the thing that's the most upsetting to you.
That's so upsetting.
The fake imaginary scenario we're just thinking about.
You got some shit to work out, bro.
Meanwhile, you went and saw Saving Private Ryan, where people were getting and you loved it.
Right.
And you paid money and thought it should win an Oscar.
Yeah, it's just like, work out your own shit.
But it's fascinating to me. Like, I think that it
just exposing dorks. It's so fun to go dork hunting. It is kind of exposing
dorks. Or hall monitors, the people that wanted to be the tattletales.
And they might mistake it for the wrong reasons, the right reasons. One time I had a joke about Adam West dying, and I was like, fuck him.
Who's that? The guy that...
Batman. TV's Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And it just, I hate people publicly wrenching their clothes about people they've never met.
What is wrenching your clothes?
Like when someone dies, you go, no, and you like, it's like maybe an old Jewish thing. Ari Shaffir Jew on YouTube right now. You like just tear your clothes out of misery, of like,
just like
pain.
mad.
Yeah, not mad, pain.
Okay.
In fact, when you hear
I've
a
never
loved
been
one
like
dies,
sobbing
you're
about my
supposed to
dead dad and been like, ah.
Yeah. But it's a version of early on Facebook when like, my dad has been gone 10 years ago today. You were the best. I'm like, what do you mean you were the best? Why is this a public post? What's wrong with you that you want everybody? It's like you're bragging about your pain. It's so gross.
Yeah.
And I saw it with Michael Jackson and Tom Petty and all these people. Anyway.
I'm obsessed with the moment that famous people find out another famous people die, and the second they do, they go into their photos.
They go into exactly. How can I capitalize
where
on
was
this?
it that I saw him? Hold on, I think we ran into each other at the
It's
People's
so
Choice
not-
Awards. There it is.
Yeah, you're not like, oh shit.
You're looking for the photo of you two together.
Yeah, when I heard Brody died, I was doing Molly in a fucking cabin with Big J, and it was like, fuck, and it was like, I can't let this in right now. Mm-hmm. But like, damn. I'm not looking to fucking promote it.
But you know what it is?
You fucking lack of humanity, people.
I think that most...
It's this town.
I don't know if it's this town.
It's town. You're
I think
right,
it might be
'cause
the
it's all
opposite.
over.
I think it's like we are in a lot of ways. Like, I think what, the people that come for us now or whatever this moment is, I refuse to acknowledge the word cancel culture and all that. And like, it's so hard to do comedy. That's all bullshit, I think. But I think that
great.
we're very lucky that we get to be heard in a lot of ways, and most people don't. So it's like, that's their way of doing it. It's like them going on Facebook. It's like us going on stage and being like...
Yeah, I guess. And then we're like observers, so we're not emotionalized by it. We're just looking at how everyone else is reacting to it. Like Ukraine, Russia. Like, how do you feel? I'm like, I'd rather comment on how you guys are seeming to be feeling.
Yeah. Well, but I'll
posting a black square for Black Lives Matter. I'm like, I'd rather comment on whether or not that's right rather than try to create any social change. That's not my job here.
Well, because that's the irony is everyone's like, comedians, you think you know everything. No, we're the ones that go, we don't know.
We don't know anything. That seems hypocritical, though. That seems hypocritical. What are you doing?
We're the ones that go like, the truth is probably somewhere in between, and we're all getting conned.
Yeah.
And I think that for us, there's something so, it's not even nihilistic. Maybe it's just sort of this like, postmodern feeling of like, we are the truth tellers. But at the same time, we're the ones that are like, there is no truth. We've all been conned. Everything's a lie. And we're able to find some weird comfort in that. Whereas other people find comfort in this is how it happened. And this is what is true. Like they need really hard walls.
It's metamodernism. It's postmodern. Just look up metamodernism. We're still in the middle of it, so it's hard to analyze. You have to like be past a section to really analyze it.
Right.
But the guy who wrote Lesson Zero was kind of the beginning of it. What's his name? Who killed himself?
Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah. He sort of started it, and it's like I can't even explain.
It's
Just
so
look it up
hard
later.
when really smart people are named Brett.
Yeah. Yeah, because Brett Ernst is a doof.
Brett, I think of
He's
like
a doof.
V-neck. Yeah.
He's like, let me do push-ups to make my checks look better.
I think of like the guy that's like, let's go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Like the guy drinking on Southwest. Yeah.
That's drinking on Southwest, exactly.
Like
this is not a party, you
like
fucking
Brett,
rookie.
chill, dude.
Brett, yeah.
But also,
so calling out dorks. So I remember posting something about the Batman, whatever his name was. Not the nice one.
The original Batman.
Yeah, Adam West.
Yeah.
And then I was like, he had sex with my grandmother, it tore my family apart. He knew she was married and he did it anyway. Fuck him forever. And then Moshe Kasher was like, he called me. He was like, Ari, is that true? I'm like, no, you fucking dork. I make jokes. Everything I say is a joke. And then it's like, so wrong, didn't analyze it right, but didn't get angry. But she's like, what? I'm like, no.
Can you imagine like
Really? No, never really.
Can you imagine if like George Lucas called Michael Bay and was like, dude, I just saw your movie.
Is there an apocalypse?
Did that car really fly off the bridge?
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy, dude.
It's because we use our real names or something that people like take us as like factual. And we are saying sometimes, I do believe this, but I'm trying to get some laughs out of
But
it.
we also, I think that like context is everything, and like the signs of like when, you know, when you're at a wedding, you know a wedding is happening because there's a flowery arc behind.
Right.
There's the Vegas chapel. And I think comics, it used to be like there was a brick wall.
Now you're just talking.
But now there's like, you're in someone's living room, you're on a couch, like people are getting, it's like when Shane Gillis was getting in trouble for that podcast thing, it was like, everyone's like, well, this isn't comedy. It's like, well, this is the first time we're watching someone sit on a couch
You don't even, right.
with a microphone, and it kind of like, that's what a conversation used to look like.
I just think, I mean, the pain of losing money, of having to go out there, you know, promote like whatever, their sponsors or your job to get you fired is annoying. But also it's like, it just makes the people who love real stand-up, real dark, degenerate club comedy, it's just like, it makes us feel more unique.
You guys, the holidays are just around the corner, so do not be left unprepared for the season. Ouai has everything you need to keep your hair healthy and looking great all winter long. Plus, they've got amazing gift sets that everyone on your list will love. So I am obsessed. I've actually been using Ouai. Look, proof, this is a new one, but these are from my shower, as you can tell by the weird, like, grimy stuff on it. I've been using this for so long because a hair stylist gave it to me, and I loved how like cool the packaging was and simple, and like wasn't turning your bathroom into like a H&R Block, you know, like they're just classy, they're simple. And then my hair started getting so much healthier. You guys know that my hair was really in a bad spot after the pandemic. Ouai is amazing because it helps protect your hair from like all of the like excessive heat, tools, and styling. I do blow drying, I do a straightener, I do a curling iron. This is the first time that I haven't looked like Phil Spector after a couple months. You know, like it really like bonds your ends. It makes it so like thick and healthy. Also, the winter is coming, and the winter is very drying for your hair. This is such an incredible holiday gift because you're giving someone like the gift of not having to blow dry their hair every day, to not have to like stress out about their hair. Like it's, for me, it's like, I love it when people give me a gift of introducing me to a brand that I didn't know yet, because how would I have known? And I just love that. This is A+, get it for the whole family, especially so that when you go home, they actually have good shampoo and you're not washing your hair with a little sliver of Irish Spring from 1987. Treat your loved ones for the gift of healthy hair. Special holiday gift sets that take the guesswork out of what to buy this season, and they fit perfectly in stockings or on menorahs. They have products good for all hair types, and with Ouai Better Together kit, you can get the full-size leave-in conditioner. That has changed my hair. Full-size leave-in conditioner and full-size detox shampoo for just $40. Perfect for gifting or trying the best of Ouai for yourself. Can't get enough. There's also the 3-way kit, because let's face it, 3 ways are better than one. This kit features best-selling travel-size detox shampoo, leave-in conditioner, and wave spray to treat, hydrate, and style your hair. Look at how luscious my hair is. It's unbelievable. And when it hits me in the face, it doesn't like cut into my eye because they're not all split ends. They're not like little mini samurai swords, you know? Look how healthy. I mean, it is pretty wild. I've never had hair like this. Discover all the ways to share joy this holiday season. Go to theouai, TheOuai.com, and use code Whitney to get 15% off your entire purchase. That's 15% off your entire order at theouai.com, code Whitney. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's actually affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things are not clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It could not be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless search for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Whitney. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Whitney. I think all of this, I mean, this is sort of
Comedy's better than ever. It's so much more popular than when you started. It's so much more popular. Do you know how many comics take private jets? That was only for Mark Cuban when we started.
It is 100%. And also, by the way, like, there were no eggshells on the ground. 4 or 5 years ago, you couldn't shock anyone.
You couldn't shock anyone.
Everyone had gone numb.
It had to be a real school shooting, or like there's so few ways to do it. And now,
everyone was so desensitized. Everyone's just like totally numb and dead inside, and no one could be fun. Trump would be tweeting shit where you're like, "How do I follow that? How do I?"
You get a really well-timed f-bomb now, gay f. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh my god,
there's tension again.
Yeah, and you might try to walk that line and fail, and people are like, "Fuck you, we're done." And that's the fucking joy of it. To get
Isn't it amazing to me? Even journalists, like whoever this person is that's texting me, like you're a journalist. Like,
death of comedy. No, it's not at all. Do a better, more interesting story.
But also, by the way, the death of comedy, I mean,
you're writing a comedian.
5 comedians died this year. Do something.
Yeah, you found this successful comedian.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's wild. Look at our tour schedules. Like, to me, it's like you guys have decided that comedy is dead because maybe the people that you liked died. Saget and Louis.
Yeah. Oh, right.
You know what it is?
Right. If you say comedy is dying,
yeah,
then okay.
Comedians are dying.
That's fair.
True.
That's a cool story.
But it's also, let's do like a death poll of who's going to die next.
Yeah. It's Bert.
But that's what we were doing at the beginning. Like, we love the idea of talking about comedians dying, but comedy definitely not dying. But there could be something. This is it. I think also these people are too old to go to other platforms to find the comedy that is working. So they're like, well, comedy's dead. I've been on Netflix and Hulu. And you're like, no, it's more live than ever.
Oh, right.
You just need to go to YouTube. You
just got to go find it.
Or, Parlor or wherever comedy
there's no good
now.
up-and-coming music at the Madison Square Garden. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
You're not going to find great
Billy
new,
Joel.
You're not going to find great new comedy on iTunes.
The story used to be, when we started, that though comedians are very funny on stage, they're quite morose and depressed off stage. And it's like, dude, you guys have written this story 50 times, and now this is the new 50-time story.
That's that drives me fucking nuts for 2 reasons.
We're having a blast off stage.
Number one, they're like, well, comedians off stage are sad and they're bummers. Like, we just don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, you're boring.
We're like,
what's the? Yeah,
we're not going to bust out the tap shoes for a journalist.
Yeah. Oh, I got a joke you heard on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm not interested.
Hold on. Here's the other thing that
I can't believe Tucker Carlson wrote to you. That's so funny.
So this is Vulture sent me an email.
Vulture is hate speech.
But get ready. Vulture, I'm doing a bit of investigative comedy journalism for Vulture. I was hoping you might be able to assist me. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the legendary Who Jackie story. I don't know if you know what that means. It's an inside sort of writer's room thing. There's a reference to the Who Jackie story. I would love to talk to Whitney about this, blah, blah, blah. And
Do you know what that is?
I know exactly what it is. I wrote, hold on.
Who is Jackie? I do know what it is.
I do not want to participate in this in any capacity. The story
is for trash talk.
You can also tell Vulture that they've always been very rude, sexist, and disrespectful to me, and I'm not interested in engaging them in any way.
Print that. You know what? You know what I started doing with journalists, quote unquote journalists. I break the fourth wall, and they'll ask me a question, and I go, "Hey man, is this what you got into this for?"
Yeah.
Do you want to write the story that's been written 1,000 times?
But it's also not even that. It's like, but you guys were if I were to retweet anything that was written about me by journalists 10 years ago, these people would lose their jobs in a way that is so. And I have no interest.
Michelle always says she got Wolf got interviewed by somebody. Said, how does it feel to be a female performer in this world? And she goes, dude, you fucking journalists are the only ones making me a female performer.
Yeah.
I get up at the table, and all they know me as the one who's really into Aperol Spritz.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing my vagina. None of my friends see my vagina.
But it's like, I've been doing this for 15 years, what it's like to be a female comic. Like, I've answered this. Like,
right.
I've answered
Exactly.
this. You know what I mean? I don't, the answer to this is somewhere. But
Just go do research and find out.
But I also think it's more like, that is just wild to me because I think journalists, the same with like TV executives and stuff, they thought they were always going to own the microphone and they were able to write whatever they wanted. And now we have platforms and we're like, hey, remember when you wrote that fucked up thing that wasn't even true? Like the LA Times article? Remember when you transcribed a podcast where I, as a joke, said
you took out all my context? You know what you're doing. You're lying without lying. You know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's so wrong.
That is,
and you're a journalist. Forget what you're allowed to get away with. You know the spirit of this, and you're misrepresenting the truth.
Yes.
Fuck you. Fuck your whole industry. Why aren't you calling each other out for doing that shit? Fuck off.
Yeah. By the way, to do that, and whatever's happening with none of my business, but you to imply that I drove 10 miles, whatever,
about that.
to do 10 years ago to do this person's podcast. And you thought I was like calling the person out, calling them a rape. Like that's what you're trying to get away with. And you're not including the link because you know someone's not going to go look it up.
Yeah. And they'll post a picture of you, like a serious picture, like look what this story did to her. I'm like, that was a headshot.
Yes. And and I'm going to be cool about it, but we talked on the phone and I said I have no comment and this was a joke. So if I say to you, Ari, you're such a rapist.
Yeah.
And then you're going to transcribe it as if I'm accusing you of doing something, how do you have a job?
It's
and then
really
when comics
bad.
make jokes, you guys tell us we're serious, but you guys are using jokes for facts.
It's nuts. It's nuts because they were supposed to represent this truthful, unbiased place.
You wonder why people come to us for the truth.
Oh, it's nuts. It's really crazy. I'm so over them. Like Tim Dillon, they called him for this interview about Rogan, and he goes, "Fuck off! You're all pieces of shit. I'd rather have more fun with it. So I'll do interviews about my friends, and I'll just fill them with mistruths." Legitimately, I did an interview and they were like, how's Rogan? What's it like being in the studio? I'm like, well, he won't allow tomatoes in there. He's so fucking nuts with tomatoes have sugar that he says, I know I'm being crazy about it, but literally don't bring it into the studio.
Oh, is this an article about how he's allergic to blue food?
No, maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
Oh, okay. In that case, like I love that you
just lie and have them be fucking fools. They said one.
Oh, is
this
like, an article about his glass eye? I don't think he likes to talk about that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Why is he so into fighting? He was he was into debate club when he was in high school, and he couldn't do that afterwards.
The imaginary friend thing.
About
how
you know about Thomas.
But his imaginary friend tried to kill him, and he almost died, and then he had to learn jiu-jitsu to defend himself.
Yeah.
Is that not what this article's about?
Dude, what we got to do is get a few comics together when there's a big story, like a Louis or something, and it's like, hey, everybody feed the same story. And just see if you can guide this.
What if it's like he ate his twin in the womb? What if he had a twin?
That's why he's so strong, because of stem cells.
Dude, he is so pro choice. He chose to eat
he backed it up.
Twin, dude. He aborted his own twin.
Yeah,
and
not like
ate
this
him.
coward Lena Dunham who wants to abort. He did it. He had an abortion as a male. The front lines of the trans movement.
Dude, you think I eat adrenochrome? He ate his own fucking twin. Why do you think he's so healthy? He scared his own twin in the womb to get the adrenochrome, ate him, and made a pizza out of him.
It's so funny.
I love that shit because it's just like, I like stuff that might as well be true. Like when there's a rumor or a lie about me, I'm kind of like, if it's
that's funny.
You know what? I like that
that's
rumor for
one.
people because here's my deal about people. Like I know how polarizing I am. I'm really big on like you love me or you hate me. Like female comics are the most hated species of people on the planet. Like
by other female comics.
By other female comics too. Yeah.
God, you guys fucking.
It is interesting. What do you think that is?
Maybe scarcity. I had somebody, I'll tell you later who it was, but she was like, I know that the more female comics join this, the less popular I'll be. The less of I'm the only one. I'm no longer the only one. But she was one of the very few.
Yeah.
12 years ago. Now she's not one of the very few. So it's like.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if it's thought out. But also, why do women non-comics hate each other? What is that?
What do you mean? Women non-comics?
Just cutting each other's legs out from under them. All their friends. They all hate their friends.
Women do?
Yeah.
I think that's a red flag. I think if a woman doesn't like her own friends, I think there's a difference. I think sometimes when a woman is complaining with her boyfriend or a guy she's on a date with about her own friends, I think that sometimes it will masquerade as like you seem to hate that person. But I think sometimes it's like when you're going to talk shit about, Segura or whatever, I hate it when he does this and he took the thing. I'm not going to go, oh, he hates Segura. I'm like, oh, no. It's like when you're friends with someone, sometimes you still have complaints about their behavior.
Yeah, it's
Is
harder.
that what you mean? Or is it more like, I hate this cunt,
it's
fuck
catty,
her?
just mean. Oh. Yeah, no, I do a joke about it. I'm like, nobody hates women like women. And all the women laugh. They get it.
Yeah, I know what that is,
Yeah.
because I think it stems from like insecurity, and I think there's also a culture of like, I feel very lucky as a comic that we get to have conversations about bigger things, because nothing bores me more than gossiping about a friend of mine.
Talk about life ideas. It's the
Yeah.
most interesting conversations.
Yeah, I think it's like a form of like self-loathing and self-disrespect to waste your time complaining about someone else's behavior who's like sick and suffering.
What's it say? It's Eleanor Roosevelt, I think, of like big people talk about, a little bit talk about, what is it?
I love this quote.
It's great.
Small minds talk about people.
Small minds talk about people.
Smart minds talk about events.
Smart minds talk about events.
And great minds talk about ideas.
Great minds
And great
talk about
minds
ideas.
talk about Sober October, motherfucker.
Yeah, just ideas instead of like, did you hear this happen? Like, news stories are fun, but also like why do women hate, like that kind of thing is like an interesting.
I think there's a
conversation. You
biological
can get
basis for a lot of it.
It might be that too.
For
It
sure.
might be biological.
Yeah, and we've been
to
wired
find a
for
mate,
it. Every
yeah.
television show we grew up on was just girls talking shit about each other and being savage with each other, you know. But I think that's also a younger thing too. I think as you get older,
You get more calm.
yeah, you just get a little you realize what it is, you know. If
My
you're
friend
doing,
Rachel Simmons, probably smartest chick from my high school. She wrote the book that Mean Girls was based on.
Awesome.
And she does all this like girls leadership stuff, and she's like, girls bully in a way that you can't even stop it. If a
Psychological.
guy punches another guy, teachers can break it up. But when a girl sits down at a table with girls and they'll go slut, slut, or they all get up, it's like teachers don't know how to fucking break that up.
yeah, and I don't know if they should. I mean, it's like
Just damaging.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're wired to. I mean, the same way men are, but you guys are out like punching the shit out of each
Yeah,
other.
we'll punch, and you're like, I'm gonna fuck your brother.
Yeah,
You're
why? Like
"Ah,
why? But why
evil."
is it? You know.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck your coworker on SNL.
But ultimately,
You're gonna get him hit with a fucking brass knuckle. You
now
nuts?
that I know when you do some gossip about someone else, you end up hurting yourself. It's like you point.
Yeah, like why aren't you looking at yourself and just trying to
Yeah.
improve?
If
You
you-
see these people online too, the addicts on social media in the comedy world.
Yeah.
And it's like, just go find something to be joyous about.
Yeah, but I think that we're gonna look back, don't you think, in like 30 years, the same way we look at like people smoking inside 50 years ago, and we're gonna be like,
didn't
remember
know.
when people could just be on Twitter 24 hours a day with no limit?
It became obvious to me during early pandemic because there was a moment when it was like, hey, the trans thing was kicking off, and it was like, hey, this is going to make everybody equal. Doesn't matter if you're trans or fat or thin. We didn't know who was more susceptible. Then it was just a death sentence to everybody,
Oh,
right?
right,
That first
right.
week or two. And it was like, it's going to bring us all together. We're all united in this common enemy. Kind of like Gene Roddenberry would say, if an alien force attacks us, then all the nations like, let's work together. And then that lasted about a week. And then everyone got online when they went home, and it's just like anger maker. And it just showed everybody how many people they're supposed to hate.
Yep.
And they're just doing it to us all the time. And
Yeah.
we're just like, can someone stop them?
Yeah.
And I think they're just fucking paying off the fucking politicians to not fucking regulate it at all.
I think that there's also a very serious, like the same way we tend to miss addiction, you know, on stuff. So I think we're going to look back at this being a time of rampant addiction to self-righteous indignation.
Yeah,
The internal drug cabinet of when you go, fuck that person. Like when I was trying to do outdoor comedy shows and employ people during the pandemic, and people like, you're fucking super spreader, cunt.
Oh my God. And like, just go fucking tend your garden.
But it's like, first of all, you already didn't like me.
You're right.
Let's not pretend this is that I just lost you.
Yeah.
Okay. But if
Because
you're-
it's never like, can I talk to you? Can I say something?
this could have been like a DM or like a call of going like, hey, you have 5 people at your house in masks and you got tested. Like, how do you have tested? How are you doing this? It's just like, I never liked you, and now I got my fucking,
Yeah.
I got my reason.
Yeah, you want to do it publicly. You know
You
you're
know?
being seen, and you want to do it publicly. If you're always blowing the light, right? Which means going too long at the comedy store.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways to handle it. There's to go on Twitter and go, Sherrod Small always fucking runs a light, fuck him. Or go into Sherrod's like, Sherrod, dude, we all have somewhere to be, man. Can
Yeah.
you please stop?
Yeah.
And the fact that you're going to Twitter,
Yep.
it means this isn't really you. You're looking for some level of like clout out this.
And there's to me, that used to really hurt my feelings, but now I'm like, oh my God, you are making
Public, not just Twitter, but
you're addicted to shame.
Yeah,
you are making
yeah.
such a negative contribution to your future self because what you're doing is so bitch.
Yeah, and you're not trying to make a joke out of it or any sort of fun. You're not trying to entertain anybody. You're just being a fucking bitch.
You're being a snitch.
Boy or girl.
You're a tattly snitch.
Look, I hate it. I'm like,
And you're
just go
like
tell
trying
them.
to start Twitter beef instead of just because that's the thing to me.
You don't want them to change. You don't want them to be better. You want to say I called them out.
And this is actually what I love about you. And you always talk shit to me to my face.
Yeah.
And I always
Yes.
loved you for it because I was like, at least you're giving me the fucking respect.
Yeah.
to do this to my face. And I never wondered with you. I never like, I feel like he talked, because we always know when people are talking shit about us. I love that comics and female
quiet in the
comics,
room.
they don't know that I know.
Yeah. We're all friends, you idiot.
You think that your friends aren't telling me exactly what you say about me?
Remember
the second
Tommy would
you
talk
walk
shit about one of your friends? You're like, but I'm going to go tell him.
But then also I feel bad for them because it's like, maybe there's more of a,
We're all gossips.
there's like my heart is like softer for female comics. When a female comics like that I know is really shitty about me or tries to sabotage me in some way or like has something with me.
And then they get fake.
Well, yeah, and then they're nice to me and they don't know. And I'm like,
Just be real. Just also go away from me.
But you know what I want to do?
What?
I want to go like, hey, I don't care what you said about me because I don't give a shit. Chances are I probably agree with you.
Yeah.
But like, you shouldn't trust the people you trust.
Right, because why am I hearing about it?
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel bad for them because I was like, you should be able to talk shit to your friends about people you don't like.
Ahmed said it to me once. He goes, I heard you talk shit about me. She called me a long time ago. And I was like, first of all, maybe. I mean, we talk shit about
Probably.
everybody. Who told you that?
You have two names.
You got to figure that out. Why would anyone tell you that? That's crazy. We were just doing trash talk, dude.
Yeah.
We all do that about our friends. It wasn't public. It's just like.
I'd be so much more worried about the person that told you than the person that said it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a wild
Dude,
thing.
I had to talk to some female comics. I saw her always posting about me and shitting on me, whatever. It's fine. Saw her at the stand and was like, hey, funny set. That was really funny. She's like, oh, thanks. And she wasn't ready to fight because she wasn't expecting me to be there.
And did
she's
she
like,
think you hadn't seen it?
No. It was, the trash talk was from before. And she saw me and she's not ready to, she doesn't know I'm coming, so she's not geared up for a fight. And she's like, oh, thanks. I'm like, yeah, that was so fucking dirty and funny. And it's like, thanks. And then like, you could see later, she was like, fuck, I meant to hate him. And so then later at the cellar, she's like, yeah, we're enemies. And I'm like, buddy, we're not enemies. I think you're funny and I like you. There's no fight here.
I would have to participate.
Yeah, what are you doing? I'm not going to fight you back.
You just don't like me. Yeah, you just don't like me.
Stop being a jerk. We're all on the same team. We're just trying to write a better dick joke.
I think that when there were a couple quote unquote cancellations, which we now realize didn't take in any, when the Aziz thing happened, when the Louis thing happened, I think a lot of younger comics thought, oh, if someone gets knocked out from the top, I'm going to move up.
It's because they can get rid of you too.
Because I think you think that
It's the French Revolution.
That if I'm out of the way, you're going to move up in the pecking order, and that's just
Right.
not how it works.
Well, I will tell you, when that happened to Aziz, unfair, Louis, unfair, all these people I think are unfair. Literally all of them.
By the way,
I think are
Renan
unfair.
Hirschberg has such an amazing joke about, like, we owe Pee Wee Herman an apology.
Yeah, jerking off at a fucking gay jerk-off place.
In a suit, paid money.
Yeah. And he's like, he was jerking off, like, next to two other guys jerking off. I'm not going to see the Little Mermaid and jerking off, you fucking idiot. You just don't know gay culture. Oh, he was at a sauna. No. He was at a bathhouse. That's a way different thing.
This is
He's
a
not
Joe Rogan
Brooke
sauna.
Williams,
Yeah.
dude. He's at a bathhouse. You're taking out the context.
It's not the Four Seasons.
Yeah. Yes, that would be weird. It's not that. You've taken out, but all these. One nice thing was, and then Chappelle also, right around the same time, nobody was bumping at the cellar. The shows ran on time.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair, but it was nice that these
Yeah.
fucking bumpers were gone.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's a little bit of a self-cannibalizing.
Yeah, you think you'll get to the top. And also like, oh shit, has public sentiment turned against that guy? I gotta also say I'm against that guy because I don't want to be thrown away.
And see, I think that that's what really
Stand up for your friends, you fucking.
Or by the way,
weak
just
cunts.
for comics. So this is something that I was just working on, the OnlyFans roast, like a joke, and it fucking bombed when I tried to do it. I tried it out at San Jose. Remember Lindy West and Jim Norton when they had that conversation about whether you should be able to make rape jokes or not. And you know, Jim Norton, very elegant, kept his cool, didn't get emotional.
Great debate.
It's one of those moments where you're just proud to be a
Wow,
comedian.
he said everything so well.
Hey girl, does your probiotic contain clinically studied strains? Meet one that does. Ritual's Synbiotic Plus contains two of the world's most studied strains with over 350 publications of human clinical trials. So I've been using Ritual for years, the omegas, like the oil. I mean, I subscribed to that like, I don't know, 3 years ago. And because it has little mints in the capsules, I don't like have to deal with people at parties being like, hey, your breath smells like wharf. Because like the just fish oil pills, like people just walking around like smelling like a quarry. It was disgusting. Okay. And then they come out with a probiotic that actually works. It's called Synbiotic Plus. It is single nested. It's a minty capsule, one daily capsule for simple, streamlined gut support. Delayed release capsules. They're designed to help reach the colon, not the stomach. You got to get to the colon for anything to actually absorb and anything to actually make any sense, okay? The colon is the ideal place for probiotics to survive and grow. Symbiotic Plus and Ritual are here to celebrate, not hide your insides. No more shame in your gut game. That's why Ritual is offering my listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/Whitney to start Ritual or add Symbiotic to your subscription today. This will change your life. Now that I use it, I get sick way less. I feel better. I sleep better. My stomach doesn't always hurt all the time. It's a goddamn miracle. Now let's talk about another miraculous product that has solved most of my problems, which are men having razor burn and smelling like burning garbage. So this holiday season, I am giving thanks to my friends at Manscaped. I've been working with Manscaped for so long. It is the only product I've ever given to guys that they'll use. Like, you know, sometimes you're like push like soaps and lotions on guys and like, oh no, man. Like this, the guy that is in my house, like we have the product here to talk about on the podcast, and then it like disappears the next day. He stole the razors, the electric razors. He stole the little kit that has the nail clippers and the tweezers and everything in it. This is so good. I'm obsessed with the smell. I use the deodorant myself, but this is awesome because the holidays are coming up. It's such a great thing to get like your guy friends, your brothers, your dad, and it's more a gift for you than anyone else, which is why I support it so much. So they have a new package. It's called the Performance Package 4.0, and some of it's for your package. It is absolutely giving me my money's worth because guys are not smelling like rat kings anymore, okay? This dude I gave this to, he loves the product so much. He has like confidence all of a sudden. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna cheat on me. He smells too good. He's like too perfectly shaved. Like, I don't know. I might be shooting myself in the foot in here. Everything you need for your man's grooming needs. Gift your man Manscaped this holiday season so his tree stands taller, if you know what I mean. Help him join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with 20% off of free shipping with the code Whitney. Go to manscaped.com. I am so thankful that men have Manscaped to shave their balls and get their grooming routine right. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Whitney at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code Whitney at manscaped.com. Get them the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your love. You not going, like the best gift you can get your man and the men in your life is not having to be like, what is that smell? Oh, that's you. Ugh. Manscaped. His balls will thank you. Okay, comedians, like, we don't have to defend each other, even if we don't, we might not like each other, but we should defend comedy together because if you can't make that joke, I'm next.
And it's like they don't see it. They just see the public sentiment turning and they just jump on it publicly. I've had this where problems like, hey man, that joke you made, that's fucking bullshit. I'm like, cool. I'm not going to talk about this.
But I'm going to defend to the fucking death your right to be able to tell that joke.
Yeah, and they don't do that anymore. The George Carlin idea is like you have to find the line and step over it. Everyone's like, yeah. And then they fucking shit on their friends publicly for a joke. Mm-hmm. It's just like, comics, quick PSA. Just err on the side of always defending every single comic, and you'll never be in the wrong.
Yep.
You'll just never be wrong.
That's right.
No matter what comes up, either stay quiet or just defend the comics. And even if it turns out like, oh, they committed genocide, then go, well, it was my friend. But this too, I'm promoting this special. And it's like all these comics like, oh, you got to come to my podcast. You got to promote it. I'll make room.
Because if YouTube becomes like the place for specials, everybody fucking wins.
YouTube is the place for specials.
I don't know for I agree with you. I don't know if it is for girls yet.
I think you're wrong, and I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
The algorithm works in a way that the more arguments there are, the more it pushes you up. And the number one argument on YouTube clips is chicks aren't funny. Yes, they are. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
I don't think anyone's arguing it though. They're going true, agree.
But it's the same. All these comments go in, and it just makes these kind of mediocre, like 5-year female comics get these fucking 2 million hits because it's like everyone's talking on their fucking wall.
Yeah.
So guys, weigh in on Ari Shaffir Jew on YouTube and say how much you hate Jews, whatever. How women aren't funny, how fucking bald I look, whatever it is. I don't know. Say something out there. Say LeBron's not better than Jordan. Whatever it is, get a fucking argument going. I think it will also be the place for women.
Yeah, at some point.
Women know YouTube. Women watch YouTube.
I don't think it is.
And they're not in the space.
Yeah, for like makeup and stuff, it is.
Skincare regimens are big.
I do get a lot of people that, or like whoever they are, it doesn't matter who they are. I don't know, that like me, a lot of people don't, fine. But the people that do, I think it bums them out when they feel like they need to defend me with comments. I just don't want the comments to like be a part of something.
Oh, don't defend anybody in comments. Just let those people. They're just showing themselves what losers are. And half of them are trolls who don't even actually believe it. Yes. They're just trying to draw you in. And I've been fooled before where I'm like, that's crazy. Back and forth a few times. And then I'm like, oh, you're a troll. Well played. You got me. You got me. I know you don't believe any of this. You got me. And they go, no, I'm not. I'm like, it's over now, but you got me.
Yeah, totally.
You wasted an afternoon of mine.
And I think my thing with negative comments is this. Like, I decided for whatever, the only way I'm going to survive whatever this fucking nightmare we're in is that I'm going to give someone a reaction that's going to make them feel better. Like, that's always just my drug growing up. Like, growing up in an alcoholic home, making someone laugh, cutting the tension at the holidays, whatever. But I didn't sign up for how I made them feel good. So a lot of people feel better when they shit on someone else. It makes them feel better.
And that's great. That's your thing. Okay.
Look at this fucking bitch with the fucking short skirt and da-da. I just for a second felt less like a piece of shit because I shit on someone else. So if you need to shit on me to feel good,
great. Go for it.
If you laugh at one of my jokes, great. Either way, I made your day.
When I said comments, I actually wasn't talking about my own comments. I mean, like, if you're watching some like music video and you see somebody say something and you're like, what are you talking about? Kids aren't, that's what I mean. Arguing online.
And then
you can't get involved in your own things.
So let me ask you though, but for you two,
or if I'll see like a Joe List post or whatever, and somebody's like, dude, he's not even doing this, I just go, hey dude, we're not doing that negative thing anymore. We kind of all moved past that. Just like put them in their place.
Yeah, I like that. It is kind of, like, it's not about it not being funny. It's just like,
hey, we're not doing that. Like, it's like you got to wear a jacket at this restaurant.
Yeah. But it also, it's like, we're like 40 now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, stop.
There's also that.
So the thing is, if you put your thing on OnlyFans, there's two reasons to put out a special. One, to get hella money. Mm-hmm. And two, to make people see it. And the best of both worlds was great, was 2015 Netflix, was that. You can make money and you can have everybody see it. So you can make a lot of money on OnlyFans. Really promote it and get that shit. So great.
Well, my thing with OnlyFans is this. So the roast that I'm doing is on OnlyFans TV. That's free. Oh, that's not on OnlyFans. You don't have to pay for it. It is their first television project. So it's just going to be totally free. It's a website like YouTube, like, louisck.com, whatever it is. But all these jokes that I see all these comics putting their crowd work on Instagram, right? And these like great jokes, like quick jokes. And I'm like, you're not making any money off that.
But they are.
How?
Look at Mattel's fucking selling out multiple shows in Seattle, and he's doing the Beacon.
Sure.
Doing the Beacon March.
But is there any crowd work that you're like, oh, if I put this on here, I might...
Well, okay, so you have to have a standard for yourself. You can't just put anything out. I've made a clip and I watch it. My editor's like, oh, I got it down. It looks good. I'm like, nah, this is better in the moment. Drop it. She goes, well, we need to get hits and grow the channel. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this isn't the one.
But is it funny at all?
It's funny a bit, but it's not funny enough to be at my standard.
Can you put it on an OnlyFans for someone's like, I'm a fan, and I kind of just, I'll pay $5 a month to see him.
I'll put a bombing up on like my Patreon.
Dude.
But because that's funny in a different way. It's like analysis of it, but you have to have a stand. Since it's all up to us, you have to have a stand of like, this was a great crowd work moment.
Right.
Or this, I was just hacky. Bury that.
And let me ask you this is just a question. Yeah. Because I'm obsessed with because OnlyFans, by the way, I think there's this thing of like OnlyFans, that's where all like the whores are. Like, have you been on it? It's like teachers that make $30,000 a year making extra money so that they're not having to like rely on getting shot in the face
nuts.
in a preschool.
It's nuts. People are like, well, now what are you going to do when your body? They always do this with Karen Fian. What are you going to do when you get old? And I'm like, she's going to cash in her fucking million she's making.
By the way, MILF is the #1 search porn. The older we get, the more fuckable
once
we
her
are.
Fucking pussy starts to melt, she's going to make even more cash.
But the point is, it's like, I mean, Instagram, and that's what upsets me because you see all these like putting their tits out and their ass, and I'm like, but you're not even getting paid for it. At least put it somewhere where you're going to be getting money from it,
So what I'm doing for my special is I spent way too much money on it, but I'm just giving it as a gift to people.
Yeah.
I don't have kids.
But the tweet, and
I'll have like a donation thing, so you can pay me a donation if you want, if you see something it's worth something. But I get it, but also it's like, I don't know. It's like giving ketchup packets out of McDonald's. Like, you're not selling those, but like people are going to have a better time and they'll come back, or soy sauce it.
But I think a lot of the stuff that you do on stage and a lot of stuff that you do as a comic, it's not, I do something slightly, different, obviously, but like that Kobe tweet, I'm like, if that was on OnlyFans where someone paid $5 and was like, I get to see the fucking, I am signing up
for the craziest shit. Uh-huh.
No one could have said that was fucked up. It's like, well, you're the one that went in the gutter.
Yeah, but I had a paywall.
You said you wanted to see that and that's what you saw, opposed to it just hit me me during the day when I had just found out.
That is the problem with social media. It goes to everybody. But on stage, it's like, hey, fuck you for recording this. It was only supposed to be for this live audience. And I'm getting this crowd. I'm in a vibe, like Tosh, like whatever it's like, I've gotten this crowd on my side. I've gotten, it's not just, oh, that joke isn't funny. It's like, when did I do it? I did it 18 minutes in. I did it to start with.
Right.
And also sometimes we're like, I did that one wrong. It's like, that's got to be allowed. If you say people aren't allowed to fuck up, then they'll never take chances and grow and get better. It's all from that, like Patrice said, it's all from the same place. So at a show, it's like, fuck off. They pay to come hear dark shit from dark people.
That's it. So to me, what's the internet version of that?
It's OnlyFans.
And I think it's OnlyFans, you know? And so to me, it's like...
You came here.
I was doing this, whatever. I was kind of trying to shoot the crowd work stuff because it seems like people really like that on Instagram. I'm worried it's going to like train people to heckle too much and like want to be a part of it.
And also it's going to train comics to start leaning more heavily on crowd work than they would do otherwise if they weren't getting hits.
Yes.
It's not like, hey, this happened to be a great moment with this heckler and I got into it. Oh, I wish someone had recorded that.
Yeah.
You're writing for the response, which is really wrong.
Because people like want to be funny now. That's what I worry about, these clips and everyone, you know?
I went to there's a cooking group, a chef group of women they used to be in the West Coast. Now they're in New York. And they all just make high level foods. Everyone make a dish and they pick a theme.
Wives? Wait, what?
Yeah, just someone. I was dating somebody once, and they were just part of this group.
Okay.
And every like 2 months.
This is comics trying to understand what friends are.
Yannick Yams, they called it. And they would just make high level dishes. So one was like spring foods or summer foods. Everyone would bring a summer food, and these women all really get into making some great dish, and it's cool. And so one time they have a thing called the intercourse, and they'll invite men, and so you have to make something good, and it was Halloween themed. So I made what I called column balls, where it was just like falafel. I don't know how to make whatever falafel balls, and then like this hummus with like, but it was like red, so it was like brains. And then on the falafel balls, I just put all the names of the victims, and then 3 really big balls of the guys who did the shooting. And the ones I knew laughed, but the ones I didn't know was like, this is way out of line. And you're like, oh, that's a comedian joke.
And I have a pitch. You should have done Pickles Columbine.
Columbine, interesting.
It should have been like pickles with holes in them.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like laid.
That's nice. Yeah, laid down.
Yeah, so it's like if you don't get it,
know
that's
your audience.
cool.
Yeah.
Like if I walk by,
It wasn't for you, dude.
If I walk by like
it wasn't for you. This joke wasn't for you.
If I walk by, when you go to La Jolla, I don't know, I keep thinking about La Jolla, like, and you go by a store that has like those outdoor bronze statues, not for me. But
Right.
I don't go in the store and be like, you shouldn't sell these.
Yeah.
I don't want them, so don't stop selling these.
Yeah.
It's like if someone wants to buy them, cool. Like I'm just gonna keep walking.
Yeah, or those angel wings, and you see these fucking classless fucking losers taking those same picture.
Yeah.
And you're like, ugh. But like,
maybe the
do
argument
it.
would
If
be
it makes you
this.
feel good, do it.
Because I'm always trying to think, like, what is my version of being mad at a comedian in other ways?
Yeah,
And
I'm mad at those angel wings.
the-
I really am. I see it. And you're like, you're a loser. You're unoriginal. This isn't cute. Or this picture.
I think
Like
it's
the
just.
walking away with the, that
I
one?
think it's the new Darwinism, and we have to let it happen. Do you know that 380 people have died taking selfies falling off cliffs?
Hell yes. Should be more.
It's just Darwinism.
Yeah.
There's a video of
great.
It's like 300 people in India. I do not recommend watching the video, but it is a guy that is taking a selfie with a wild bear while he is getting eaten by the bear, and everyone is filming it happen.
Wow.
It's just idiocracy. This is just Darwinism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people that are doing the angel wings, they're gonna die in a car accident in a couple days. It's like the same thing with the fentanyl thing. It's like people like the fentanyl testing strips. It's not about the fentanyl. If you're doing cocaine at 40 and you die of fentanyl, you are gonna die next week
No,
anyway.
fuck off. Loser, dork, loser. Wrong.
Who does
Drugs are great.
cocaine?
Drugs are great. Don't do coke. Do every other drug that they're fucking
What?
also putting fentanyl in. It's fun. Live your life. Have a great time. Don't fucking fuck up with deadly shit. You're fun drugs.
But cocaine, if you're doing cocaine at 45,
Yeah, you shouldn't be eating lobster every day, but don't put fentanyl in it.
if you're doing cocaine in your 40s, the chances of fentanyl hitting that cocaine are very high.
Now, if you live in a dumb fuck America, move to the UK where everything's pure. No, it's not a problem in Berlin.
I've never done cocaine.
Really? In Hollywood.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird, but I wouldn't think you had, to be honest.
Really? I feel like everyone thinks I'm on every drug.
No, you're just hyper.
I know. That's the saddest part is that when people think I'm on drugs, I'm like, the most embarrassing part is this is my personality.
What have you done?
I did mushrooms on a live podcast like 3 months ago.
How was that?
It didn't. You know what? I feel like it just made me
You gotta take the right amount.
feel less high. Yeah, I feel like I need to do it with someone that I trust who like is good at it. I think for me, when I'm sober, my brain, I'm on Prozac now, but my brain is so like OCD, it's hard to focus. It helped me really just focus, believe it or not. I felt very clear. I didn't feel high or...
It's a different thing. I wonder how much you took. If you're really on mushrooms, it's not the best for podcasting. Because you'll be like...
Oh, really?
And you just be thinking about the truth in the universe, and like it's not the best to watch.
I was
for
like energized.
15 minutes.
And then I've never done ecstasy. I've never done Molly. I know. Should we do a live podcast where I do Molly for the first time?
Yeah. It's great. I did one once with
We
somebody.
just fuck
I
on
did
a
once. It
podcast.
never came out, but I did one. And it was great. It was probably one of the best. It was probably the best podcast of 2019. I'll
What?
say that without like.
And you
bragging.
didn't let it out? You didn't release it?
It wasn't up to me. It was up to my friend's wife who didn't want it out.
Oh, right.
But
I
it
think
was
I heard
the
about
best
this.
podcast.
Yeah.
He knows it. I know it. There was never, probably, maybe of all time, legitimately, definitely of 2019, maybe of all time. It will be fun. I will get you the right amount, as I got him the right
Okay.
amount, and I'll make sure it's pure. We can test it too again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun idea.
But should we do it like...
Who else? We gotta get some music too.
What's the difference
I'm gonna
between
have to put
ecstasy,
ecstasy and
MX, no.
MDMA.
MDMA.
What a fucking loser you are.
MXPX.
Yeah, MXPX. Yeah.
That's by the way a straight edge band.
Yeah.
I listened to MXPX when I was a kid in DC. I was
Oh yeah, we're both Maryland people.
I was like the dork straight edge punk scene bitch, and then by the time I got to like school, I became like a workaholic and I had eating disorders, so I never got.
Funny, you were straight edge not because you're like, I want to be hyper focused. You were straight edge because you were a loser.
Yeah,
You just didn't have the stuff.
100%.
That's it, right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that the MXPX cover?
Yeah, or I just never got to do drugs because everybody already thought I was on cocaine, so
Yeah.
no one offered it to
It
me.
used to be ecstasy. When I
Okay.
moved here, Duncan gave me my first tab of ecstasy, and I was like, I think I feel it. I guess after like an hour, and he goes, you know, I'm like, I think maybe, and then he goes, take another half. Took another half. I was like, oh, yeah, I was wrong before.
Here's my problem with it.
Yeah.
Is I already have such bad anhedonia that the thing that I focus on when people talk about ecstasy is they're like, okay, look, the day after
you need to
want
take
kill
5
your-
HTP. You need to take a 5
that's
HTP
great.
tab before you take it, and you need to take one more 5 HTP tab the next day. Not tab, pill.
pill.
Yeah.
Because people will
What a
say,
drug
they're
head I am.
like, for like a week I wanted to kill myself, but when you're on it, it's the best.
It is the best, and it's worth it. Take that 5 HTP.
But are you doing it with like an intention in mind, or is it
No,
just like I'm gonna...
no. It's not medicine. That's fucking map shit.
But what if I don't want to? My fear is that I'm going to feel this amazing feeling and I'm not going to want to go back to. It's like once you fly first class, you don't want to go back to coach. Is that what it feels like?
Yeah, I remember telling Duncan that one time. I was like, let's take MDMA again. Or no, it was ecstasy. Let's take ecstasy again. He goes, dude, calm it down. Let's wait a month. Like, you got to calm down.
I have a very addictive personality. Like I'll be like, why aren't we always on this?
Yeah. It is great. It wears you out. Afterwards, like, fuck, that was just a lot. Like sometimes you're like, want to take Molly? And I'm like, I don't have the energy for this right now. It's going to be 6-7 hours of real heavy, interesting, fun thoughts. Ecstasy was pure MDMA, from what I understand. I might be wrong. And then they started cutting it with speed and with other shit. And they still called it ecstasy for a while. But then eventually they're like, just call this Molly. It's not ecstasy anymore.
Yeah.
Which is MDMA. And then eventually they're like, well, let's go back to the old school of old ecstasy, which is just pure MDMA. And then now they call it ecstasy again. And then that started getting cut. And then
Right.
It's just like whatever. The speedy kind, the kind I've had, it has been too speedy. But also the pure stuff is great. It goes really well with mushrooms because anytime you start going, we're all going to die, the MDMA is like, nope, your feelings are great.
But we are going to die. Do you
Yeah.
want to forget it? So does it make you forget it, or does it make you have a better relationship with the fact that we are?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it
is
makes you
it?
have a better... I've fallen in love on Molly, and it's not like it's the drug making you think that. It's tapping into your real feelings.
You're like, it was with a crow, but...
Right. Yeah. You don't lose sight of reality on it.
Right.
We should do it.
Do you think that each trip you do, like, brings something else out in you, or, like, are they all similar, or is it, like...
First one's the best because it's like you don't know what it's going to be like, so it's all the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with mushrooms. And then the more you do it, the more like, I know what this experience is going to be. Same time, first time you fall in love, you're like, no one understands this.
I'm the only person that's ever...
Yeah. Let's do ecstasy. Let's invite a bunch of people. Okay, I'm going to think this out here.
Because I'm not even kidding.
You have the money to do this right.
Okay.
Okay?
9 paramedics standing by.
Get some
Dude,
paramedics
is
so everyone
Michael
feels
Jackson's
safe.
doctor out? I feel like I could afford his hourly rate.
He has no job.
Is Michael Jackson's doctor dead?
He must be out by now, right?
Was he also Prince's? Can we get him on the line?
Get some cameras set up all over.
Okay.
You want some people, so because you might want to wander. You might want to leave the podcast studio.
Where am I?
So you put some pockets, like not just over here, but
Where
everywhere.
am I going to go?
You might want to wander and dance. You might need to move this chair out, but I'll get tester kits, have some paramedics outside so everyone feels safe.
I mean, but don't you think that'll make me feel paranoid or no?
We'll have them outside in the driveway.
Okay.
Like, but we also might want to go to the pool.
That's a fun idea.
Yeah. Like have it
put
set up outside. We can actually probably
But
shouldn't do
who's
it
the
in here.
cast of characters? Because I'm supposed to do another live podcast in December. It can be the Hanukkah.
I will be off grid in December. I'll be off with my phone off.
Where are you going to be?
Just somewhere. I will tell you this: when you're on heavy drugs, this is your fucking best friend. These little Moleskine notebooks.
Oh yeah.
And just write your fucking thought of pure truth into this notebook. Moleskine, there's rumors that you're discontinuing the small notebooks. Don't let it happen. They are the best for drugs, for comedy. Don't discontinue the small ones, Moleskine. Please, please. They're tearaway pages. Please. The only hard part is reading your drug handwriting.
You are going to have carpal tunnel. This is This
yeah.
is wildly. I mean, this is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little
but,
small.
this is a good suicide note. Museum, vasectomy, bandit.
So that's the truth moment of drugs. Write it down so you don't forget it. But
Right.
you're like, I see it. I see the truth. You just the feeling of like this is we're all one. We're all just a speck on the planet.
Yeah.
Why are we fighting? That shit's so true. And then you like kind of forget. The reality is
the
thoughts
idea is that
everyone had on COVID. We're like, you know what? I got to talk to my parents more.
You know what?
And then
I
it
appreciate
goes away.
old
You get
people.
you get right back into your job and you forget it. But like write them down. Meditation can get you there too.
Mm-hmm.
And so like what you're doing is there's a knock on the door, and you could go get up and go answer that door yourself. But you have a butler, so you make the butler just go get it because it's easier to have someone go answer the door. And he goes, the butler is mushrooms or drugs, and you getting up is you just doing is just meditation.
Mm-hmm.
But my retort to that is, if you have butler money, get a fucking butler.
Yeah.
Just why do meditation every day when you just take some drugs and get there?
If you have OCD, if you have trauma, closing your eyes for 20 minutes can be very upsetting and stressful.
Right, so don't tell everybody else to.
And you can also re-embed neural pathways and make them stronger, the exact ones you think you're trying to weaken with meditation. So if, unless you have some kind of very specific mantra so for me, the only meditation that's ever worked for me was George Haas's class about attachment strategies, where the meditation is, I forgive you, you forgive me, I forgive myself, which is just
Say it
like,
again.
I forgive you, you forgive me, I forgive myself. You say it over and over again, and it's really just all
What's
about,
the you forgive me part?
I forgive you,
No, but you forgive me is like,
you forgive me.
you had no...
Because a lot of
You have
us
no
went
control
around all
of
the
that.
time going like, oh, well, what if Ari's mad at me? What if this person's mad at me? I think this person's mad at me. Like, they
So you
forgive
gotta be
me.
like, they've moved on.
They forgive me.
Right.
Like, and by the way, chances are they're not thinking about you at all.
At all.
At all.
Yeah.
I'm a piece of shit in the center of the universe. But if you're just sitting there going, like, I'm not thinking about anything, why can't I fucking suck at meditating? I'm such a piece of shit. Why can't I meditate? Then you're just actually exacerbating.
Don't think about a pink elephant.
Yeah.
And then you're
it's
like,
like,
that's all
don't,
I can
it's
think
like,
about now.
don't, if you have a broken leg, don't run on a treadmill. You know, it's like if your brain is not going to fire the way that it needs to fire in order for meditation to be auspicious for you, don't do it because you're just going to strengthen the neural pathways saying, I can't do anything. I'm a piece of shit. I can't even fucking meditate. I'm such an asshole. Or you're going to be fantasizing about that, your ex. You know, why did
Yeah,
you
so just do drugs.
do what works for you?
Do what works for you. Yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Just everyone's brain is so wildly different. Like,
Yeah, if you're like, well, I was an addict. I can't do drugs. I'm like, sorry.
I think the hardest part about all this is everyone's just looking for people to tell them what to do. And the fact is you have to like do inventory on yourself and go, okay, this is what I come from. This is how my brain works. Like, let me try
Yeah.
this. And what works for everyone else doesn't work for me.
I would say the only thing everybody could do is watch my new special, Jew. Ari Shaffir Jew on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/Ari Shaffir. Just go watch it and enjoy it. That's
and
all I
if
want
you
from
don't, you're anti-Semitic.
you. What a fucking piece of shit you are. If you watch this whole thing and you don't just go over there and be like, all right, I'll give this a chance. Put on
I'm
a bunch of
also
fucking free
have a
content for
qualm
us.
with you.
You have a little qualm? What is it?
You didn't ask me to do This Is Not Happening.
Interesting. When it was going on,
Just as I said it, I think you might have.
I might have asked you to submit a story. What a lot of people did was they go, oh, I'm in this higher, not that you're doing this, but I'm in a higher place. So I just do it. And then a lot of people aren't used to dealing with someone who's like, oh, no, I need you to show me a story you're going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to put on a famous person.
Yeah, of course.
So for some people, I was like, submit a story. I'd love to have you. If you can submit a story.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah. We were searching for women. Like, hard. We had to go to fucking Indianapolis to find Miss Pat. Like, they weren't around. We were looking hard for women.
What explain.
You can't just say, I want to get any woman. You need someone quality. You can't
Yeah.
mortgage your quality for the sake of these check boxes.
Yeah.
But I get why diversity of opinion is
of course.
smart. So we went to Houston to find Ali Sadiq.
Yeah.
It's not just, well, here's a checklist of gays we can have, the
Yeah.
same 6 gays we always use.
And also telling stories like that.
That's another thing. Not everybody's good at that. I had to cut a hero of mine once, and I had to talk to him like, hey, man, I don't think this is going to do anybody a service to air this. And he goes, yeah, I just wasn't good. I'm like, yeah, it's right. Not everybody's good at stories. I'm terrible at one-liners.
And not everyone's good at roast joke. Yeah, exactly. Same.
You know, so it's like, and you see them like, ooh, and it's like, try to get better at it. I would love you to get better. And not everybody has a crazy story, you know, and not everyone knows how to tell this crazy story. So it's like something had to have happened to you that's nuts, and you have to know how to fucking tell it.
Yeah.
Bert, Diaz, Big J, Sean Patton, Steve Simone, Miss Pat, Ali. They're all the best in the world at it. But the same story happens to 2 people, and one's going to tell it better than another.
Yeah.
So I was looking for any woman. So there's, I doubt I didn't reach out in some way to like get me a story.
This is what we're doing with podcasting. We're like the elders that are sitting around the fireplace, like passing on the wisdom or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I just want to like get better at telling stories.
Then you just got to do it and fail.
Are you ever going to bring that back?
I hope to. At this point, I'm done with the special, which was taking a lot on my mind. I hope to ask 2 or 3 of my super rich friends to like just make it and get out of my way and get out of my way. Yeah, you guys can own it, but let me book it and do whatever I want. Don't tell me who to get or whatever. I'll run it right the way I did before.
Right.
And I'll just make it great again. I just don't have the money to do it, but I think we can make. And I also want to send it off right. But minimum.
Also to shoot it somewhere. I mean, now.
Yeah, just fun stories. Get all the greats out.
You could do 10 of those for $50,000.
Sure, something like that.
Easily.
Yeah. And it was like so much editing before to do it for TV, like take a 22-minute story and make it work in 7.
It's dumb. Why?
But right, exactly.
Can I say something else that is like when people
the digital ones were the better ones.
When people are complaining about like, you know, that like comedy's like broken up into, you know, 2-minute. Okay, first of all, Comedy Central hours, they were 42 minutes. Yeah. They break
breaks with 5-minute commercial breaks.
Commercial.
That's not how you're supposed to build up an hour.
No, like we've never had this.
Yeah,
freedom.
You don't like go like have the opener go on, and then he's like, please welcome the headliner. Do 2 minutes and be like, all right, guys, take 6 minutes, go to the bathroom, I'll stop, and then watch me for another 9 minutes, and be like, all right, take another 4 minutes off. It's dumb. So.
Better than ever.
Just the people are like, how long should the stories be? I go 5 to 15, but someone like Jim Brewer's was 22 minutes. It was one of the best stories of all time.
You don't make great. I'm sorry to call it art, but whatever. You don't make great art by getting a time limit and saying fit it into that.
They tried early on when we started doing the show on YouTube only. Allison Kingsley was the executive there, and she was I love her, but she's such a pushover. She was like, we did whatever we wanted.
Yeah,
it's what made it great. And she goes, you got to keep these short videos. I've heard 2 minutes or less. And I go, oh. I'm actually thinking like some of these might go 18, 20 minutes. And she goes, no, 2 minutes less. I'm like, we're going to go where we go. And then people tuned into that.
Yes.
It's milking it and really bringing us on this fucking journey.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It can be long. It just can't feel long.
Right. And so some of them you'll hear them and be like, hey, this story's too long. This whole middle section's got nothing to do with this.
Imagine if like a brilliant comedian was like, I'm going to tell you a story. I'd be like, can you just, like Joey Diaz, like, I got a story for you. I'm like, but can you just keep it to 3 minutes just for no reason? By the way, for no reason at all.
But it's like a story that happened over a year and a half. It's like, what are you talking? It was an epic.
Yeah. I love you, Ari.
I love you too, buddy.
I really do.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
So
I'm glad
when are you going to take your vacation? How about make 6 million this year instead of 12? Oh, and have a life. By the way, I spent literally half my life savings on this special, and it's not that much. So please go watch Ari Shaffir Jew right now.
Watch it now. Fight about it. You know I end these very awkwardly. I love you. AriShaffir.com, touring, all of it.
Yeah, I've just announced the Beacon. So first time doing a big fucking giant room like that in March. So I don't know. Just tickets are available there, but
go see Ari
all the dates are on
play
my
out
special.
Theaters before he sabotages himself and intentionally goes back to small clubs because turns out being rich and successful makes him hate himself.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable.
Love you guys. Don't ride elephants. Goodbye.